Hey. City light,
Sipping on some syrup, I'm Canadian. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel. Better late than never, I always say. We are getting our UFC prediction video out there. A little bit different style show here today. I know we're usually like hella interactive. We do a chunk of the picks and we go to the live chat. I try to read every single one of your comments. There will be a moment of the show. There will be a portion of the show where we will read your guys' comments. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to dive headfirst into this card. We are going to give our picks and predictions. And I keep saying our because we do have a guest that we're going to bring on here in a moment. I've had the honor and privilege to be able to jump on his show before. So I told him, you know, the keys to the castle are yours. Anytime you want to join our prediction show, we'd love to bring you on. And since I'm a day late anyways, folks, like let's not lollygag, as they say. Let's just dive right into it. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications so you never miss an upload. So you never miss a live stream. And we got LFA tonight, Octagon tomorrow morning, UFC, and then after UFC, literally, I'm gonna do like a fucking stretch. And then we have RWS Muay Thai in Japan.
That shit beautiful than a motherfucker.
It's gonna be unbelievable, but we'll talk more about that at the end of this show here. Let's dive right into this UFC fight night. Hermansson versus Pyfer, and bring on our guest, Dylan Med. What is up, dude? What's going on? Thank you so much for joining. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. It's a nice Friday, ready to, just talk about these fights some more, get into it after watching a little bit of the weigh-ins and all that. So
I can't wait. And for a lot of you, like, he's a new face. He's a new face on the channel, but he's been in our live chat a ton. You might recognize like his name. Like I said, he is also a host on Who Bangin' Sports, and that was the great show that I was invited to jump on with you guys. Was like, I felt before Christmas now. I think it was like 2 months ago.
I think it was one of the last cards of the year. Yeah. Yeah.
Time's flying here. Time's flying, but it's great to bring you on, man. And we'll dive into this card in just a moment, but just quickly tell us about the shows that you run and where we can find you on social.
You can find me on Twitter at MedDylan or at DylonBets is the other handle. Either one of those will work. Then Who Bangin' Sports, follow me there on YouTube. We do a sports show on Tuesday with me and the boys, just breaking down basketball and hockey right now, but we'll be getting into everything. I mean, we do college basketball, baseball coming up, a little bit of CFL, NFL. I mean, we talk everything every Tuesday. And then Thursdays, we run the Fight Lounge. Got some guests on there. We got the Dab Father who joins us, Jeff. He knows a lot about MMA, and then our guy Barney too. So a few of us there, we rotate through and just really bang it out, break down the whole card front to back every Thursday. That's at 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
Awesome. Well, look at that. It worked out perfectly for you to jump on as this is fresh of mind. So let's start with the first fight here on the card. I'll quickly just do a rundown. I will shoot it to you to give your opinions on who you're picking and why. And if you have any fighters who are included in, parlays throughout this, I know you look at these cards more through a betting aspect than I do, which is a good balance to the show because, I'm not throwing the amount of money around the Maya degenerate chat. And I say that with all the love and respect in the world, chat. It's in his name, right? It's in his name. It's in his name on Twitter. So anyways, let's quickly just go over the first round here. We got Daniel Marcos against Alori Quilen, I think is how you pronounce it. The Mongolian Murderer, one of the best monikers in the UFC. Orochi Lang. 25-11 pro MMA record. He's been fighting for a while. 30 years of age, 25-11. Like I said, he is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He is coming off a win up against Daniel Marcos, 15-0, undefeated. So obviously, hell of a win streak there. He is the favorite at -275. 8 KO, TKO, 0 submissions, 7 decisions, 2 wins in the UFC already, which is crazy. Like we said, time's just flying by here. Had a nasty win on Contender Series. Beat Davy Grant. I mean, not the hardest win. You should beat Davy Grant. Split decision, so you probably should have beaten him a little bit more decisive there. Had a good win in his UFC debut and had an awesome win on Contender Series. Look, he's a solid prospect. Going up against a journeyman who's, Chin is a little sus these days, but again, has a lot of power in his mitts, as we've seen. 8 KO TKOs, 1 submission, 16 decision, and again, just a weathered guy here. 13-4 in Wulin Feng before he even came into the UFC, where he's gone 3-3. He's fought in CKF as well as Chin Wu Men MMA professional. Literally, he's been on every regional circuit in China before coming over to the UFC. Okay, he beat Johnny Munoz, a big whoop. Lost to Zahabi. Was it like right? Yeah, right away. He got freaking knocked out in that one.
Yeah,
he lost against Cody Durden, Jeff Molina. I mean, you got to have those wins, even, and he's only 30. It just feels like he's 37 with, how long of a career that he has. Before I give my pick, I'll throw it over to you, my friend Dylan. Who do you have in this one? And from a betting perspective, hit me up with your thoughts.
I think I have to go with Arichi Lang here. A little bit because of the numbers. It opened at plus 140, then plus 175. And then fuck me running plus 210. It's too high, so I had to take him. And I noticed that Daniel also gasses a little bit later in round 2 or 3. Slows down. I shouldn't say gasses completely, but slowing down. Low striking numbers in his last fight, where I see Arichi picking up the pace a little bit later in the fights too. So for a little sprinkle, I think he can get a round 2 or 3 finish at plus 1,200 and 1,600. And then I'm just on the money line at plus 210.
There you go. I think Daniel Marcos just gets it done before the third. I think overall he's just better. I think if he gets hit and he feels the power, I don't think he'll be put out right away, and I think he'll be able to take this to the ground if he wants, or unfortunately make this a boring fight up against the cage. I think he's a good striker as well, though. That's the thing. Overall, I think their power is equally matched, and I think if he wants to keep this on the field, he'll probably beat him up. But you said it there. He usually finishes his fights early, and in the third, he's usually won the fight already. So he kind of takes it off and or gasses. Yeah. So that is my concern, but I am going with him. I am going with the favorite, and that's my pick. So
fair.
All right, next one on the card here, we got Haider Amil against Fernie Garcia. Now, Fernie Garcia, I believe, took this fight on short notice. I think it was like 4 or 5 days ago, where he again took this fight. He's on a 3-fight losing streak in the UFC, coming off Contender Series, so he's holding on for dear life right now, and he needs this win to stay in the UFC. Haider Amil, actually a really, really solid grappler. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of just like more of the grappling style matchups in the UFC, but if you guys don't remember, go check it out on Contender Series. It wasn't just a back and forth affair. This kid fights at a huge pace. I mean, his striking, I can't even say it leaves less to be desired, because I just haven't seen enough of it recently. But he can hold his own against really, really good grapplers, and he seems to have a gas tank that's infinite. 8-0, which that's good to see. 33 years of age. He's the underdog here, which I found crazy. Guy on short notice coming in on a 3-fight losing streak, and he's the favorite. Like, I don't know. This just seems like easy money.
I think those lines are wrong. I saw that. Sorry, Isha. I saw that on Tapology earlier. The betting lines are actually wrong. Tapology got this one wrong.
Okay, thank you. So this is why I need a guest here. Okay, well then he must be the favorite, right? Because I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, he's a minus 200, and then Fernie is plus 165. So they just got that flipped.
Okay. Okay, well, I thought I was laughing there, but I haven't even placed the bet here yet. I just did my prep for this, and I was like,
same thing.
Okay, yeah, because I literally did my prep like an hour before this, and I was like, you've got to be shitting me. This guy's what? What? Okay, well, whatever the case, I'm taking a minus 200 either, or anyways. Yeah. He's just better overall, and the fact that I know Fernie Garcia is fighting, for his contract, and we saw, Charles Johnson in a G fight for his contract, but he, in fairness, had a full camp and was ready for a tough opponent. What do you got to add on this one?
I really don't usually like betting on UFC debutants, but there's a lot here to support him. He did look okay. He's got a gas tank, all that. And then, again, this was supposed to be at 145, and then Melsik Bagdasaryan pulled out. So they're moving this to 135 now. So I'm not sure that that's going to help Fernie Garcia. This guy's going to have big power in there too.
Yeah, it just seems like...
I think I got to be on Haider here.
Yeah, he's... Dana White likes dudes who save
distance too.
Yeah, Dana White likes guys who save cards, save matchups, But he's got to win. He's got to win to get in the good graces. Like, if he wins, he probably gets a contract extension. Maybe just 3 fights, but still, And in that case, he has to like not just survive win. Like it has to be like, okay, he gets a fun knockout here in like the first round.
That's what he's done in his last 3 too. Just survived and won. So I kind of see this one going to decision.
And don't get me wrong, Brady Heisen, Rina Nakamura, Johnny Newson, like all decent prospects that he's had to face, but he's lost every single one of them, and he's lost every single one decision. Some of them closer than others for sure. Yeah, this one again. Okay, so the line is wrong here. This one's easy money. What's up, everybody in the live chat? Like I said, we're firing through these fight picks here, but I see you, Denial, West Coast, Phony, Western Mass Climber. It's good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. All right, next up on the card here, Zach Puega against Bogdan Guskov. Sorry, we both locked in Hyder Emil. What are your thoughts? We'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this one before we run down both these guys?
I kind of leaning towards the dog again too. You're gonna find that as we go on. I'm leaning towards a lot of dogs. I mean, I just don't really like Zach that much. I mean, I can't trust him as far as I can throw him. And this guy just got finished, so maybe there's a little recency bias saying he sucks only because he got finished by Volkan Oezdemir, right? But honestly, I'm probably just going to pass on this one from a bet. But if I had to pick, I would take Bogdan Guskov.
Yeah, I'm picking Bogdan Guskov as well. Like, yeah, he's crushed some cans on the regional, but he's actually a really good fighter. He's a really good striker. And it's like, Ozdemir's not an easy first test. Like, that's the Yuri Prohaska treatment coming over from Ryzen. Right? And it's like, okay, so you're not quite at that level yet, but I do think you're better than the Zach Puegas, who, has proven he's not even at the Modestas Bukauskas level, who, is arguably at the Guskov level, right? Like, good
That's
on other regional scenes. Right,
if
good
the
on
UFC something enough in him to put him against Alexander there in his debut, then he's got to be a little bit better than might suggest. And then, like you said, Modestas Bukauskas, he had a good run, but coming back to the UFC, he knew he was bound to lose eventually.
Yeah, and Zach Puega just doesn't have a lot of pro MMA experience. Yeah, he went through all the Ultimate Fighters, so he's got some exhibition experience there. Dropped to light heavyweight from heavyweight, which I think, light heavyweight is his weight class. But this guy's nasty, man. 14-3, has tremendous power. Actually, he brawled with Oezdemir as well. Oezdemir obviously attacked his legs there. 12 KO TKOs, 2 submissions, 0 decisions. Like 1 decision loss, 1 submission loss, 1 loss via KO TKO. Didn't fight necessarily the best leagues, didn't fight the best opponents, but man, I thought he got taken out really, really quickly there, but overall coming in, I was a fan of this guy, and I just think, okay, you're not at Oezdemir level yet, but you're definitely better than Puega. So this one's an easy pick. This one's an easy pick for me.
A nice underdog price too at plus 100.
Right? Yeah, get them all you can. Get them all you can. All right, and this is just like a typical. This is a typical fight night at the Apex card that we're like, oh yeah, 2 guys are still under contract. They might as well fight each other here to shave one off. Jeremiah Wells against Max Griffin. 2 guys who have been around, fighting for a while. I know 38 years old, 37, both getting up there in age. Both have been in the UFC since, at least 2016 each. And anyways, Max Griffin, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a loss. Jeremiah Wells, 4-1 in his last 5, also coming off a loss. So 2 guys, almost 40, coming off a loss here. Max Griffin, 19-10. He's been around for a while, man. He's had a lot of fights. 9 KO TKO, 2 submissions, 8 decisions. Yeah, 7-8 in the UFC. Bounced around regional shows like West Coast Fighting Championship, Tachi Palace fights, freaking Gladiator Challenge, where he was all successful in. Lost to Miguel Morales. Beat Tim Means, a split decision. And honestly, Tim Means was like out grappling him in parts of that fight where it's like, okay, man, you got to at least out grapple Tim Means, because Tim Means is, known for the strikes. Where Jeremiah Wells gasses in the third. Okay. Like we've seen it so many times. It's because he fights at a high pace in the first 2 rounds. He's a better grappler. Is he a better straight wrestler? I don't know. Max Griffin's wrestling is not too bad, but he's definitely like a higher pace grappler. And I don't know. I think I have to go Jeremiah Wells on this one, but it's a close fight. I think overall it could go either way. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, it's a close fight here. Even, the wrestling to the grappling, that makes it pretty even. The striking, even the strength and size. Maybe Jeremiah has a little bit more of that. But to me, he's on this 4-fight win streak right now, surging at 37, 38 years old, right? So I think people might just have a little bit of recency bias on him. And if this is a close fight, I had to take Max early just because the number was at plus 150. But yeah, I still like him to win this fight. Like you said, he's going to slow down, gas out. And who said it in the chat here? I saw somebody, Denial, Max painful to watch Griffin. Yeah, he's probably going to try to do exactly that. Just grind him out to a decision. So I like Max. Don't really like the decision just because I think plus 150 is enough. Don't want to get too greedy there, but Max by decision. That's my pick.
Exactly that.
All right, moving up the card. And again, appreciate everyone in the live chat here. Again, we'll take some of your comments at the end of the show. We just want to fire through some of these picks here, and but by all means, discuss away amongst yourselves. And yeah, Dylan, if you see any comment here you want me to bring up, just highlight it there like you did. All right, Devin Clark versus Marcin Prachnio. Again, two guys who are like, oh yeah, they're still under contract. They're still under contract with the UFC. Both them coming off losses. All right, here we go. Here's a matchup. Marcin Prachnio. What's interesting about him, it's like, I'm never like not impressed. I'm just disappointed when I watch him because I'm like, man, like you've got good technique. Your striking's actually fun to watch. It's just like you don't have the power that guys in your weight class have. And if you do have a striking match against guys who have different style of striking but more power than you and arguably better, you get beaten up, right? And that's just the thing about him. Whereas Devin Clark. Devin Clark's just getting up there in age. Devin Clark's another one of those guys who just seems weathered at this point. And I don't know if he necessarily has like the power to beat up Marcin Prachnio. Before I get into my thoughts, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think it was a pretty good breakdown from you, honestly. Kind of what I had too. Just he keeps trying to change his style after getting knocked out. He changed it to a different style. He just can't seem to figure out what style is right for him at that point, and he can't mix them together. I don't know what his problem is. And I thought he was chinny too, and then he comes back and takes some shots from big guys, and so I just can't get a good read on this guy at all. But he does slow down a little bit. I think these guys have an average combined fight time of around 10 or 11 minutes. So I think Devin does get it done here. I'm gonna try to take Devin in round 2 and round 3.
I like it. Yeah, he's 8-8 in the UFC. He's a Midwest guy, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's a Sioux Falls, South Dakota guy. Yeah, win one, losing. I mean, he has a win over William Knight, Dang Jun fight. I mean, better win to have over William Knight, who, I mean, I don't know, I'm convinced William Knight was just betting on himself to lose at this point in the UFC. 16-7 for Marcin Prachnio. Again, like I like it. His striking's fun to watch, but like, it's just, I don't know. There's just not the power there. There's just not that snap in the strikes. Despite him having 11 KO TKOs, 1 submission, 4 decision. Yeah, he's 4-0-1 before he came over. He also, yeah, there he goes, a win over freaking William Knight. Yeah, this one, man, like Vitor Petrino eventually, like, got him down and got him in the arm triangle choke. But before that, like, they had a good scrap on the feet, but Petrino was just beating him up because the shots just were, they just had more they just did more damage. It's crazy though. He has a win over Khalil Roundtree. That's nuts. That win has aged well.
Yeah, that was. I remember that one. I was definitely on Khalil Roundtree.
Yeah, I don't think Devin Clark's gonna beat him up, kind of like what Petrino did. So I'm gonna say Prachnio decision. I'm gonna say Prachnio decision.
Hey.
Yeah, that's what I think.
All right.
OTMMA, what's going on, guys? Western Mass Climber still here. Appreciate you. Denial. Jack's going to sleep too. Hittable. TR Clips. I know Activate A will be live with us during the prelims of LFA, and he has a ton of action here tonight on LFA, and I think Funkmaster does as well. Look at that. We do have matching hats, Phony. And West Coast appreciate stopping by as well. All right. Loma Lookboonmee against Bruno Brazil, which again, I think Bruno Brazil, the only reason she's in the UFC is because she had that nice head kick on Contender Series. Other than that, I just don't think she's UFC level. Her record's good. 9-3-1. And yeah, 4-1 in her last 5 fights. She did get a UFC win in her last fight, but against Shauna Bannon, who was just like, come on. Yeah, Denise Gomez is she's legit, but still, she beat up Bruna Brazil. Loma Lookboonmee is, on a resurgence here. 2 wins after just getting smothered here by Lupita Godinez. Really nasty Muay Thai fighter. Like she's damn good. Only 28 years of age. I forget how many Muay Thai fights and kickboxing fights she had before she transitioned to MMA, but she had a ton. So she's actually a dangerous striker, despite only having 1 KO TKO. She's solid. 5-2 in the UFC. Ripped it up in her 2 fights in Invicta. Great win over Elise Reed. Really good win against Denise Gomez, which obviously is, in this case especially, has aged well. Lupita Godinez just had a great game plan on her. Couldn't put her away, but just smothered her, took her down, put her in positions where once Lookboonmee got back up to her feet, it was just she didn't have enough time to get anything going. But I think against Bruna Brazil is not going to take her down. If she does, Luma's good enough to get back up to her feet, and I think if they just have a straight up scrap, Luma's going to kick the shit out of her. So decision, or maybe Loma takes her out, but I'm never going to bet on that personally. All right, what about you, dude? How do you see this one playing out?
Honestly, like you said, really the takedowns is going to be her path to victory. She's not winning a striking battle against Loma here, Bruna. She's got to get the sub or grind it to a decision. So, yeah, me and my guy, we're going to be on the point spread for this one on Bruna Brazil. I think maybe she can, if it goes to decision, get it close enough on the scorecards to get within that +3.5, because this line's gotten too wide. I mean, I don't want to tell anybody here what to do. I'm a crazy degenerate. I took the +210. It says +235 now. It's just running too far. And I mean, long term, I just bet a lot of women's dogs, and it's profitable long term. So even if I'm nervous and I lose this one, this number is a little bit too wide for me. But yeah, I'm still on Bruna. I'm going to pick her. Let's go contrarian here.
I just like watching Lookboonmee fight too. I'm just super into Muay Thai and kickboxing, and she's brought that incredible. Yeah, she's brought that style to the UFC and is good enough against some of these women in the UFC anyways to stay on her feet. And unless someone just smothers her and makes the fight boring in that style, she's good enough to shake you off. Maybe she'll face adversity for a minute or two, and then she gets into a scrap. It's just good women's MMA to watch. So that's whenever she's on a card, I'm like, okay, sweet, I'm gonna watch that fight.
Yeah, and Bruna's also 5 inches taller to a 4-inch reach advantage. So I mean, Loma's gonna try to get inside, use that Muay Thai clinch. So I think it's gonna play a little bit to Bruna too, but a little bit more grappling than striking, because Bruna's not gonna want to strike with her. If she does, she's really dumb.
I know. Maybe she's like, oh, I'll just get that head kick again, and the UFC will love it.
Nope. She ain't getting a head kick on a Muay Thai girl. She's tough.
Yeah.
Too. But I think she could take a head kick.
Yeah. Now this motherfucker streams everything. Isha streams beta fish fights if they were on Fight Pass. If it was on Fight Pass, I probably would. You're right. All right. This next one, and again, sounds good. This next one, and again, guys, I was hoping to see this guy fresh off Contender Series to come in and fight his opponent, who was fresh, who had a camp, just to see what he had. Unfortunately, he was injured, and now Timothy Cuamba steps in on short notice. Twilight Timothy Cuamba, who's actually a good fighter, but I believe he fought just 2 weeks ago, or he was 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago anyways. He fought in Contender Series, did not get a contract, but had a good scrap. Bolaji Oki, though, he's legit, man. He's legit. And yeah, he's fought a few cans, but the guys that he's put out, I mean, he's put them out in just unbelievable fashion. 5 KO TKOs, 1 submissions, 2 decisions. His fight on Contender Series was awesome. Those motherfuckers scraps, says Idaho Skates. Yeah, he beat a 5-1 guy on Contender Series, and again, it was an awesome first round victory. Yeah, he beat up a can 18-3. But again, knee to the liver was savage. He beat a 13-0 guy at Atomic 2 via unanimous decision. That was a good fight. And then a guy making their debut. But again, he's still relatively young, so I don't really judge him on that one. He beat a 6-2 guy when he was 3-1. And I know 17-29, that's crazy. The guy probably sucks, but it's a guy who's had experience nonetheless. 3-0 guy when you're 1-1. So it's an interesting record given that he's still relatively new to mixed martial arts, only 28 years old, 8-1. It's a nice record right now. I don't know if padded is the right term because he has beaten legit guys, but regardless, he's dangerous. He's had a full camp. And Cuamba, bless his soul, man, on a win streak of his own, had just fought recently, didn't get to the UFC off Contender Series despite having a win and a good fight. Just fought, a few weeks ago at Tough Enough, and he's back taking this fight short notice UFC. So he signed a contract
8 days ago. Oh my god.
Oh shit, yeah. So not even 2 weeks ago. So I do know if you sign a short notice contract with the UFC, I believe it's an automatic 3 or 4 fight deal. So obviously you burn one of them, but you automatically get offered anyways 2 more fights, unless I guess maybe you're horrendous and there's some like out clause. So a lot of fighters sometimes will just like take the beating sometime or take the L to get into the UFC here strategically and, get into good graces with the UFC. So I think that's what he's doing. And honestly, if he took this fight on such short notice and he's ready to go and make that weight cut again, then he's probably just going to go balls to the wall in the first round and we might see a good scrap. Having said that, I don't think he puts Oki away on not even 2 weeks of a camp and on 2 weeks notice. So I got Bolaji Oki finishing this fight.
Yeah, I pretty much 100% agree with you. It's going to be exactly like you said. And the other thing too is Timothy Cuamba. I think he's around the Nevada area. So he's a guy on a call list that's close. That can get there. So he kind of sticks around on that regional scene. I feel like lots of fighters do just to be close in case you want to get that call so you can get that contract, like you said. And this seems like they're calling him up to be a body. They need somebody to fill in the spot over Damir Hadzovic. Timothy Cuamba gets the call up and signed to a 2-fight contract after losing his first one.
Yeah, and Kazovic's a good fighter too. So it's like Oki had like a legit camp. Like he was ready to go. And again, bless Cuamba's soul. He's fun to watch, and I'm excited to see him on a full camp, in the UFC now, fighting other prospects. But yeah, he's gonna get his ass kicked in this one. Just Oki has too much power, and he's tall and lanky for the division too, right?
The Cuamba's tough too. I mean, if I wanted to take a shot, I would do maybe a round 2 or the KO on Bolaji. I don't have any numbers yet because it's a late fight. They don't have props available for me yet.
Yeah, it just under
2.5 is -150. That's not bad.
Yeah, Tapology said he's plus 145 here, and honestly, these weren't even when I did my prep like an hour or 2 ago. Those weren't even showing, so that's new. But again, take whatever Tapology has with a grain of salt, right? All right.
Those lines are fairly accurate.
Yeah. What's up, Mr. Grant Gregory? It's good to see you. Welcome. Can't wait to do our prediction show and preview show on Mr. Grant Gregory's channel, previewing the next pay-per-view. Our boy, Mr. Grant Gregory, by the way, almost at 400,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. The guy's absolutely his channel's buzzing right now, so go check him out. A lot of you on this channel are members because of Mr. Grant Gregory, so the least you could do is go subscribe to his channel. I
think it might have been him. I want to give a shout out to Gregory because I became a member on this channel and I don't know how, so it must have been him.
There you go. Him or the other Dylan Chaikin both went ham one night. Shout out to both of you guys. Leela, shout out to you as well. Good to see you. All right, next we have Trevin Giles against Carlos Prates. Prates 17-6, but don't let his his okay record fool you. He's he learned how to lose early, let's just say, against really good opponents in decent leagues, and he's been on a run as of late. Trevin Giles, I mean, it's a good test, but I don't think Trevin Giles is the prospect we thought he was coming into the UFC. And, he's not old now. He's 31, but he's had a lot of fights. He's had a lot of fights. Let's check out the 17-6 Brazilian Prates here. 12 KO TKOs, 3 submissions, 2 decisions. He's fought in 1 championship. He's fought in LFA. He had a good win off Contender Series. I'm pretty sure, did he fought in Brave? He fought in Wulin Fen, Chiwun Men. I thought maybe he fought in Brave as well. That might be a different fighter on this card. Anyways, he's fought in modified rules, kickboxing, Muay Thai, so striking's nasty. And look, he got his wins out of the way early in his career. Fighting guys who are just a little bit better than some guys. This one's a pretty nasty win, actually, if you look at it. But anyways, look at this resurgence. Since 2019, he has not lost in kickboxing and or MMA. Got his way to LFA after competing in 1 championship early. Awesome win off Contender Series against Mitch Ramirez. Straight left in the second round. And dude, he's good. He's nasty, man. And I think the odds, obviously, they're reflective of that. Trevin Giles, 31 years of age, 16-5, 2-3 in his last 5. He's got some KO power as well. Actually, he's pretty well-rounded, to be perfectly honest. But again, I thought he'd be better in the UFC upon coming in as a prospect. And Lost to Gabriel Bonfim, but is Gabriel Bonfim the nasty prospect that we all thought he was? Maybe not. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one, Dylan? What are your thoughts on this one? I'm leaning towards Prates personally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning towards Prates winning the fight too, but like you said, Trevin Giles, he's good all around. I think he's got good jiu-jitsu, decent enough striking. He'll probably look to take it to the ground if he does lose the striking battle, and I think Carlos is a bit of a better striker, more accurate, a little more crisp. So, yeah, we're going to take the point spread as we talked about on our show. It's a good bet, you know, just for him to keep it close, maybe not win a round, but keep that around within a 29-28, and we can get a plus 3.5 on the point spread. When these dogs are plus 200, you can still get a plus money on them to keep it a close fight. So I think Trevin Giles keeps it close, but the pick is going to be Carlos Prates.
I love it. I'm with you there. All right, moving up the card. This is actually a big card. Was it 13 or 14 fights on this card? 14 fights on this card.
Huge.
What is this? ACA? Rodolfo Vieira. Yeah, ACA is like 11 prelims in like 5 or 4 main card fights. It's crazy. Rodolfo Vieira against Armen Petrosyan here. I really like Armen Petrosyan. Maybe it's because I'm like a little biased. I like the kickboxers, but I think he's a kickboxer who's good at keeping the fight on the feet, and he's going up against a jiu-jitsu guy first and foremost. Now, Rodolfo Vieira, 34 years old, 9-2. 3-2 in his last 5 fights, but he wins one, he loses one, he wins one, he loses one. If he takes the fight to the ground, it's over, right? Striking isn't necessarily his forte. So it's an interesting matchup here. It's an interesting matchup. I didn't think he'd have the success that he's been having in the UFC right off the bat, but he's been able to transfer his jiu-jitsu to MMA nicely. 8 submissions. Funny enough, 1 KO, TKO, and 0 decisions. So, like, he does finish all his opponents that he beats. 4-2 in the UFC, did compete in ACB and ACA. He beat Cody Brundage in his last fight, which, like, okay, whatever.
Classic.
Yeah, whatever. Lost Chris Curtis. Beat Dustin Stoltzfus, which honestly isn't a bad win there. Got him down, was able to choke him out. Lost Anthony Hernandez. You know what I mean? Like it's like you can beat some guys that are decent, but you try to take that step up in competition, and you're just not there. You don't have all the tools. He surely hasn't put it all together yet at the UFC level. Whereas Armen Petrosyan, 8-2 as a pro in mixed martial arts, 4-1 in his last 5 on a 2-fight win streak again. I like Armen Petrosyan because his takedown defense and ability to stay up against the cage and not get dragged down, or if he does, pop back up quickly and be able to cage walk tremendously well. I really like it. And he's not super lanky for a taller guy, which like helps him in defending takedowns and actually helps him in the clinch. And when some of these bigger guys just want to dirty box him. 5 KO, TKO, 0 submissions, 3 decisions, 3-1 in the UFC. On a 2-fight win streak, beat Christian Leroy Duncan, who's a solid prospect coming in from Cage Warriors. Beat AJ Dobson, lost to Kaibo Hayo, but like that's kind of aged well, right? Beat RoboCop. Yeah, I got Armen Petrosyan winning this one outright. What are your thoughts on this from just pick side and betting perspective?
Yeah, I have the same thing. Armen Petrosyan, I found him early at plus 100 when this guy was a favorite at minus 130. And yeah, I think he's purely just a grappler. He's going to shoot 1,000 takedowns. If he can't get it done in the first round, he does slow down a lot. And Armen Petrosyan, he's good at, getting back up, like you said. I think he's going to do exactly that. Stay at range, kickbox him. He's a really good kickboxer, even though Tapology says he's Muay Thai. I'm sure you know his brother, too, Giorgio Petrosyan.
Oh, and
the best kickboxers in the world.
One of the best, yeah. One of the best.
Yeah, I always bring that up when I talk about Armen because maybe people don't realize how good of a striker that he really is. But yeah, elite level striker training with his brother. I think Rodolfo Vieira gets fucked. And I'm on Armen Petrosyan.
I love it. I love it. Blunt. He's fucked. I think so too. I really do. I can't see Vieira getting past him. All right, next, as we're on the main card now, as that one's a banger to open it up there. We have Michael Johnson against Darrius Flowers. And again, big shout to Denial, Leli, Mr. Grant, everyone in the live chat here. Baptiste, I see you as well. Salut. Darrius Flowers against Michael Johnson. Now, man, I always just root for Michael Johnson. I just want to say this. I always root for Michael Johnson. And I I know he's getting a little chinny, but I don't think he's as chinny as people think. Like, I don't think Darius Flowers is going to knock him out, okay? I think if Michael Johnson loses this fight, it's, you know, if it's a TKO, it's like ground and pound and he can't get out of it. I don't think he just straight up gets knocked out by Darius Flowers in this one. I'll just say that right off the bat. Darius Flowers is a decent prospect, I guess, coming into the UFC, but I don't know. I don't see as anything special. 12-6-1. He is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Came off Contender Series, lost his UFC debut. Went on a decent run in LFA before then. Michael Johnson, the menace. 2-3 in his last 5. Loses, wins, but looks good even before he gets finished there. He's the favorite coming into this one at -140. What are your thoughts on this one, Dylan?
I'm not sure I agree with Michael Johnson being a favorite, but I guess Darius Flowers really can't be either. I can't really trust him. He's got an average fight time of about 5 minutes in the UFC, Darius Flowers does. So I think Michael Johnson's good enough to survive. And I think Darius Flowers either knocks him out or he gets finished later, because that's exactly how one of his fights goes. So for a pick, I think the more experienced guy, I'd have to go with Michael Johnson, even though he's 50-50. The UFC's kept him around for a reason. And for a bet, the under 1.5 rounds at -110, I think is a really good look. I don't see this one going 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, there you go. It's just crazy because he's fought some decent guys. He's been on the bad end of some decisions too. Whereas like the Jamie Malarkey one, you rewatch that fight, you can make an argument that Johnson won that one, right?
Yeah.
This was a bad loss. Good win against DeCasey. Clay Guida, I mean, again, I don't want to say that was a bad decision, but like, I don't know. Stevie Ray, another one he went decision with. I know Emmett knocked him out, but Emmett was knocking out everybody.
Majority decision, yeah.
Yeah, split decision against Andre Fili,
yeah.
You know. And I go, that's going back to 2018 too.
Gaethje, fucking Habib. I mean, you're fine getting finished by those guys.
Yeah, so like, there's a reason the UFC's kept him around, like you said, but like, yeah, he's one of those anomalies who are like kind of like Angela Hill, right? Who's like almost a 500 record, but looks good even in losses, and sometimes is on the bad end of a decision. Again, he's getting up there, and he doesn't have that many fights left. And yeah, he, like Denial said, he did almost fold Gaethje. I think I'm going with Michael Johnson too. I just don't think Flowers knocks him out. So I think it's either Johnson finishing this fight or...
He's just too wild in round 1. He's going to come out wild, swinging, waste his energy, and then I see Michael Johnson probably getting it done if he doesn't land that one-punch knockout.
Yeah.
He's a KO or bust fighter. I can't bet on those guys.
No, yeah, for sure. I could also see just Johnson, like, once Flowers gets tired, like, not necessarily putting Flowers out, but just beating him up for 2 rounds.
Yeah,
and, like, Flowers, like, not being able to get the takedown, and he just keeps, like, jab, punch, in and out. Flowers maybe lands a couple soft ones to the body, and, you know, that's it. So we'll see. Denial thinks Flowers by decision. All right. Moving up the card here, we have Brad Tavares. Yes, another guy still kicking. I mean, what a card, guys. What a card. Like, we might see just some fun knockouts in this one. I really do think this is like a sleeper card for knockouts. And famous last words here. I don't mean to jinx it. It could just be awful, but we do have some names that are just like, yeah, you're on the roster still. Yeah, we got to find a fight card for you. Might as well just put all of those fighters on the same card before pay-per-views. Thank you. But anyways, going to be the glass half full guy here. Brad Tavares against Gregory Rodrigues here. Brad Tavares, tough as nails guy, not super skillful. The reason we all think he's skillful is because he just is able to survive against tough guys. The fact that, oh my God, the fact he didn't finish Chris Weidman just blows my freaking mind. 20-8. He's another guy who's been around for a while, up against RoboCop here. 14-5. Freaking RoboCop. I cannot believe that, like, he's only just a few months older than me. He looks like he could be my freaking dad. 14-5 for Gregory Rodrigues. 8 KO, TKO, 4 submissions, 2 decisions. 5-2 in the UFC, 3-0 in LFA. He actually lost his Contender Series fight and didn't get a contract, and also fought a little bit in ACB. Absolutely destroyed Dennis Tialulin, and I always say this. I was a fan of Dennis Tialulin when he was in M1. I was a fan of him when he was coming up, but he just looked awful in the UFC. Bruno Ferreira, I mean, he has power, and he showed it against RoboCop. Before then, he beat Chidi Njokwani, who I don't know if you guys remember. That's when he had that crazy gash in his forehead where you could see like that vein. Yeah. Oh my, or that artery. That was absolutely insane. Should he gassing hard after almost beating him? That was a crazy fight. And he lost to Armen Petrosyan. So honestly, his recent losses have like aged well. They're not the worst losses. He's good at jiu-jitsu. I believe he's a national world champion. And now he's fallen in love with his strikes, and he's still pretty good. I don't think Brad Tavares is going to put him out. So if this goes the distance, Gregory Rodrigues is going to absolutely smoke him. But I think Gregory Rodrigues probably gets this done in like the second or third. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, RoboCop, he's actually one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. I've been following this guy for a long time. I liked him first because of his nickname, RoboCop. It's one of my favorite movies, and I followed him as a fighter. He's really exciting. What I want to see from him is to use his fucking jiu-jitsu for once. And I'm going to be trying it again in this fight. I'm going to go for the sub, even though Brad Tavares has never been subbed. I'm going to go for Gregory Rodrigues by submission again.
How crazy is that, dude? 15-8 in the UFC, never been subbed. That's just the thing. Like, he's tough as nails, and he will grind out a fight with the best. But like, when he's grinding out the fight with the best, it's not like he's being super offensive or a threat. He's got good takedown defense, or he's good at getting, forcing you to not get full mount and have to go from like side control to half guard. But he's not threatening at all, I feel like. I don't think he ever was. Madar says, I actually think this will be a close decision. What's up, 15%? Me too, Matt. That will happen, Dylan. He's going to bang it out. This fight will go over 2 rounds. What's up, another Dylan? Dylan Shaken. HoboCop, one of the best nicknames in the entire UFC. Oh, man. All right, so we're on the same page here. We got RoboCop, Gregory Rodrigues. All right, moving up the card. Another short notice fight here. Another case of a guy who needs to get back in the win column on a 2-fight losing streak, and honestly should be cut from the UFC because he's awful. Ihor,
Let's go.
Potieria.
Let's go.
I know down here is going to be betting them, you freaking degenerate, but let's quickly highlight these guys taking this fight.
Not betting
short
on Ihor.
notice.
Come on.
Up against Robert Bryczek, who's 17-5. Yeah, he's crushed some cans. He's 5-0 in his last 5 fights, by the way. 33 years of age. Yeah, he's crushed some cans in his career, but he's fought some decent guys in Octagon, and he's got freaking power in his mitts. 11 KO TKOs, 1 submission, 5 decisions, 4-0 in PL MMA. He's fought in FEN, which FEN's actually a good league, and then 4-3 in Octagon. He was supposed to fight Duraev and Jacob Malkoun. I mean, you're preparing for Duraev, and Potieria is the one coming in on short notice. Easy money, ladies and gentlemen. Easy money for the fighter and for us betting on this one. You beat a 16-5 guy. Decent win. Knocked him out in the first round again. 28-17, man. But then 7-1, pretty good as well. But then 11-12. So you can see the pattern here. He has faced good guys throughout his career, as you can see, but he's also beaten up some cans. He's been able to go on long winning streaks. And again, he has the power. He's got that Polish power, man, to knock most guys out. Ihor Potieria, his only good win in the UFC was to old man Shogun Rua.
42 years old.
And he was clowning. He was dancing over his grave. Like, come on, dude. You're in Brazil knocking out a legend, and you're going to clown on him? Come on. 9 KO TKOs. You could have fooled me. 7 submissions, 4 decisions. And I was saying that the Polish guy crushed cans. Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy. I'm sorry. You're 15-2. You're going to against a 0-3 kind of guy. No. Unacceptable. I can't stand him. Yeah, I know you're fighting to keep your UFC dreams alive, but this guy's going to knock you the fuck out.
Hell yes. I'm pretty much on the same thing. That's the exact breakdown that I have written here. I know I keep saying that, but I literally have that written down. I'm still mad about him knocking out 42-year-old Shogun Rua, dancing on him. And I think this is a clear fucking setup spot. We know that the UFC probably doesn't want him anymore. He's lost his last 3 by KO when he did lose. So, I mean, he's going to get finished. I've already got my revenge. The last 2, I bet on a Carlos Alberg KO. I smacked it the fuck up because I was on Mauricio. I figured he might lose. I knew it, but it was my last time to bet him. I knew he was going to be gone after that. So I did a little, for the people, for the man Mauricio, I just placed a bet anyways. But I got my money back on Carlos KO. Rodolfo, round 2. I mean, I'm going to get more on him again. I'm just going to smash this one. It's Robert all day. And the thing here too about the line, it was minus 275, minus 215. Now it's like a fair price at minus 155 to 160. So it's definitely hittable.
Yeah, I just want to say, people in the chat saying, yeah, I know he was seconds winning from winning the last fight. Bolato sucks too. Okay, maybe it sucks as being mean, but he ain't that great either, man. I don't know how the guy didn't block any of those shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was two meh guys fighting each other, and it was just like the better chin won. So like, I don't know. I didn't think either of them were really good. Bolato looked good on Contender Series, but I was actually shocked how like slow. And I'm like, do you not know how to keep your hands up? It was as simple as that. And I go again, I'm no fighter. I get it. Maybe I'm being a little hard on him there, but I was just like, I was disappointed. I was like, I totally thought you were better than this, and you're looking worse than Potieria. But he had the better chin.
Yeah,
and was
I
able
just
to come
knew
back.
Ihor didn't have the power to knock out a Brazilian. Doesn't have it.
Yeah.
I don't think he can knock out this guy either.
Bolato's a modern day Brazilian Vittori. There you go. Cannot block a shot worth shit, but just takes a bunch of shots to the face. Isha just answered where his hate came from. He was not mad about who a KO taunt in Brazil. I mean, that too a little bit. I just cannot stand him like Dylan here. But I don't think he's that good. All right, co-main event of the evening, which honestly, I think this one's going to be a banger. I think this one's going to be an absolute banger. The last two fights that Andre Fili has been in, I mean, a lot of people think that Nathaniel Wood should have won this fight. It was a close fight. It went back and forth. He dropped Nathaniel Wood a couple times, if I'm not mistaken, in that one. And he knocked out his last opponent. Yeah, he's hittable, but he's durable. He has some decent wrestling and some decent grappling, but he can absolutely scrap as well. And that's the type of fighter that Dan Ige is. Dan Ige has okay wrestling, but he's very good at scrapping. He doesn't have the best footwork, but he's good at coming in and out of the pocket. He hits hard as well. Maybe not as hard as a Fili, but I think this is going to be a fun one, man. I think it's going to be a fun one. 17-7 for Dan Ige. He's out of Extreme Couture. 5 KO TKOs, 5 submission. Again, never been knocked out, never been submitted. All his 7 losses have come via decision. 9-6 in the UFC. He's one of those OG Contender Series guys. Lost to Bryce Mitchell, but it went to decision. Beat Nate Landwehr. I mean, Nate Landwehr is a freaking truck, so that was a fun one. Damon Jackson, that was a fun knockout coming from him. And that was coming off losing to 3, good guys. Chan Sung Jung when he still had a little gas left in the tank. Josh Emmett couldn't finish, by the way. And Evloev couldn't finish, but doesn't look like Evloev can really finish anybody. And then Calvin Kattar, another one of his losses. I mean, look at these guys that he's lost to, right? Some of the best of his division at the time. Before I make my pick, I want to hear yours. Who do you got, Dylan?
Like you said, never been finished. And Andre's 50-50 in his last 10 fights. He's losing to mid-level competition where Ige only loses to the top guys. So I kind of put him at the top, kind of in the middle, lower, about tier 1 Dan Ige. Then for me, Fili is like a tier 2 type fighter, kind of in the middle there. So I think Dan Ige definitely gets that done. He's more defensively sound too. He's more accurate with his punches. So I'm just gonna go with Ige here for sure. And the money line's a good price too, so I'm not gonna try to get a KO. Like you said, I think he's pretty tough too. Maybe he can get a KO, maybe not, but I'm not gonna try to get cute and pick a thing. Just Dan Ige on the money line at minus 175.
I got Fili money line. Let's go. I think Philly's tougher than we think. I know Funkmaster's going to give me shit for that one, but fair enough. And Dylan Chagan saying, Isha, you aren't thinking this through. Remember how the UFC let Askar Mozarov fight Menefield even after they caught him faking his record, and they did it just so he could get publicly bludgeoned. See Potieria being in the UFC still has an opportunity like that. Kick-Ass McGrath, good to see you as well. Matt are saying, I'm telling you, bro, Terra has hands. He throws good combos, but I don't think he has the knockout power. But anyways, that's just my opinion. If you guys are right, I'll eat crow. I'll eat crow on stream. Andre's a beast and he can take him down. Most of you are not even old enough for Dragon Ball Z, let alone Shogun. Hey, what's up, Andrew A? Fili getting this win. Both these guys are the same but different. 520 here. Wrong crew for that, Matt. What's up, Curtis Clark? Well, work was shit. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Good to see you on. Good to see you too, Curtis Clark. A wise pothead once told me he's 420 somewhere. Fili gonna win, man. He's a fighter feeling himself, and it's a good place in life and career. That shit matters. Absolutely. He was just on the Jackson podcast too. Kind of like both, but learning more. I kind of like both, but leaning towards Dan Ige. I'm not saying Potieria will win. I'm saying he will get KO'd in entertaining fashion. So him still being in the UFC isn't a bad thing. Okay, because you need some of those. Yeah, you need some of those sacrificial lambs.
You need the
some
bodies,
of those that will.
Yeah,
you need the body sometime.
Yeah.
No, I got you. And again, appreciate you chiming in, Dylan, Leeli, Andrew A, Matt R. It's good to see you all. Andrew B. Look at that. We got the whole crew in the house here today. And we're nearing the end of the card here, so we're taking more of your guys' comments as we go to the main event of the evening, which, by the way, I do think that this might be fight of the night, right? Like Dan Ige, Andre Fili, I think if it goes the distance, it's going to be a back and forth fucking banger. And I think this one ends a lot
for fight of night.
Yeah, I think this main event ends a lot quicker, ladies and gentlemen. Be like Joe Pyfer, as Dana White says. Body bags. Joe Pyfer, like what a freaking moniker. 12-2 as a pro, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. What's up, Volcan? Just in time for the degenerate and safe parlay of the week. Volcan, good to see you. 8 KO TKOs, 3 submissions, 1 decision, and he's been competing in some grappling matches as well. He actually beat Gerald Meerschaert in a grappling match with Meerschaert. That's his thing, is grappling. So that's huge to see. Eric Anders as well. I mean, a little bit easier on the grappling side. He also knocked Meerschaert the fuck out. Meerschaert is a tough guy to put out anyways.
I know. I think Meerschaert came back and said, I want another chance. Let's grapple. And he beat him.
100%. 100%. Abdul Razak Al Hassan fought scared in that last fight. And what is this guy known for? Knocking dudes out, right? So that was a huge win. Amadovsky, he knocked out too, which was huge. I mean, this guy is just getting better and better, in my opinion, is Joe Pyfer. I think he's got solid grappling. I think he's got good takedown defense, and I think his hands are money. And Jack Hermansson, like, yeah, you're a good grappler. Yeah, you're a veteran. I mean, 23-8, 2-3 in his last 5, but he's fought like some decent guys. For some reason, I think he's going to scrap. I don't think he's going to go in and risk getting countered or risk getting embarrassed or defended on the takedown, because like his straight takedowns aren't pretty. It's once he's in control is when Jack Hermansson can pull his magic. It's not necessarily like he's good on, like, I guess, up against the cage and when he's able to drag you to the ground, but like his straight up single legs and double legs, like that's not how he takes you to the ground. And there's no way he's going to outmuscle Joe Pyfer up against the cage, in my opinion. It's crazy to think that he has 10 KO TKOs, thinks he's a striker, 7 submissions. That's more his forte, 6 decisions. If he scraps, which I just have a feeling he might scrap, Joe Pyfer's going to knock him the fuck out, in my opinion, either in the first or second round. Solid fighter. Again, he's been around for a while, 10-6 in the UFC. He's fought in Bellator before that. Oh, man, he lost to Roman Dolidze. And again, I think personally Roman Dolidze looked worse than he ever did in his last fight, because that was horrendous. I thought he looked...
Can we not talk about that?
Yeah, I thought he looked a lot better in the Vettori fight, but maybe that's just because Vettori's that bad too, and that, it was just two bad sluggers going at it. But anyways, he does have a win over Chris Curtis, which is crazy to think about. Edmund Shabazian's not that great. He beat Kevin Gastelum, Ronaldo Souza, Gerald Meerschaert. He does have some good wins on his resume. He's fought some tough guys as well. I don't know. I just think Joe Pyfer's the real deal. I think Joe Pyfer's a better prospect in the UFC than that of Bo Nickel, personally. But anyways, I'm picking Joe Pyfer for the main event. Be like Joe Pyfer. Dylan, what are your thoughts on this matchup, the main event?
I'm probably going to go the same way with you. I think it's got to be Joe Pyfer here, but the price is a little bit wide for somebody that hasn't been tested. If he doesn't finish him and it goes 5 rounds, I think Jack definitely has a chance here. So I think he's got to get that finish early, or there's a lot of questions on him still, But I'd be willing to fucking take a chance on him at the KO, I think, at plus 130.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't think he submits he could, but I don't think he's going to try to. I think Jack Hermansson's a little bit better grappler than Gerald Meerschaert, so can defensively grapple, stay safe, and then get either ground and pounded or just knocked out straight if he tries to get into a war.
Hey, happy Chinese New Year to Leela here, saying you're so fat and stuffed with food. It's almost dinner time for me, so that sounds amazing. Or as Moicano says, Joe Pfizer. Yes, Joe Pfizer. I heard him say that on the MMA Hour. Yes, see you for LFA later, Andrew. Pyfer has hella KO power. His weak spot used to be grappling, but his past 2 years, he's improved so much, obviously. Yeah, and, competing in those high-level grappling tournaments does help, for sure. Joe with the KO, sprawl and brawl, baby. Stacking around. Jack 2 hittable for that much power. Joe got this. Marvin with the Edmund head movement. Pyfer is not awful, Andrew. Never heard anyone say that before. Pyfer is awesome, man. Pyfer is awesome.
Yeah, I can call him
favorite.
Awful.
Good wrestling, defense down, grappling becoming better, and solid power. Now, I didn't tell our guest Dylan Med this, but every week our boy Volcan here in the live chat said he's gonna have to rewatch later, but he stopped by to say what's up. He suggested that I propose a degenerate and safe parlay of the week. Now, sometimes I don't like the safe parlay and the degenerate parlay to overlap. So if say there's a really safe guy, or a really safe matchup, usually I'll go with the degenerate guy and leave that safe one off and just go with some other guys, because I don't want one side to crush the other. If anything, I'd love both of them to hit, right? So that's kind of how I play this. But three fighter money line parlay. It's simple. My degenerate, and if you want to think of one on the fly, by all means you can share. But for those in the live chat right now,
parlays prepared.
All right, let's go. But my degenerate parlay is Potieria, Tavares, and Cuamba, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you can go any more degenerate than that.
Degen.
I mean, my student loans will be paid if that pays out, ladies and gentlemen. My safe parlay of the week: Joe Pyfer, Guskov, and Prates. A little bit risky, maybe with Prates and Guskov. Joe Pyfer's an easy lock in that one, but I think that one's relatively safe. So again, my easy, safe, and degenerate parlay of the week. I know Volcan and some of you will be dropping a little bit of a something on the degenerate. Just I don't think anyone's degenerate parlay has hit yet, so it just shows how ridiculous they are. But yeah, hit us with some parlays, my friend, since you're the betting expert here.
All right, let's go with the safe one first. I don't have any numbers on the degen one, but I definitely have some underdogs we could throw in a parlay. But for a safe one, I put this together as we were breaking it down. It's just 2 money lines: Robert Bryczek and Dan Ige at plus 155. So I think that one's really nice. Just 2 guys, real nice, clean, plus 155 there. And then for a degenerate parlay, I guess I would just pick all my dogs. So Irichi Lang in the first fight, Bogdan Guskov, Max Griffin, and technically Armen Petrosyan at minus 105.
Honestly,
Vieira minus 120. He's also a dog.
That's a fucking good dog parlay. No, seriously though, all those guys have
round robin this too.
All those guys have a decent chance of winning. It's not like one of them is super far fetched. You know what I mean?
This one pays 28 to 1.
Let's go, dude. I know there's going to be some of you in the chat who play that. I know for sure.
And then for a hot tip, I would literally ladder that to, do the doubles just in case one of those legs loses. I guess the favorite would be Max Griffin, Guskov, and then Armen Petrosyan, and then that fourth legger would be the long shot on Irichi Lang at plus 210.
Yeah, he's definitely the longest shot there, but again, has decent power. I'm not confident.
Good parlay booster at plus 200.
You go. No, and if anything, that's it for sure. Kikas McGrath saying I'd recommend Prates, Giles, and Guskov. I mean, that's good as well. That's good as well. Oh, Andrew's kidding. I got you. Yeah, because I was you were agreeing with everything, Andrew, until that. All right, chat. We'll stay on for a few more minutes here if you guys want to comment on those parlays or if you have any of your own.
Let's say you put the safe parlay and the degen parlay together and get 70 to 1. How about that?
There you go. And again, that someday that'll pay off my student loans. I know. And when it hits, I'm going to be dancing for joy on this channel. I'm going to take 1 week off of streaming. I'm going to go to Mexico or some shit. It's going to be awesome,
right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Just $10 on that would pay you 700, so it's worth a shot.
Why not? Giles Decent Flowers sub parlay. There you go. Oh man, I love it. Again, reminder, guys, that we do have LFA coming up tonight. When the heck am I starting that again? think it starts a little bit later here. I want to say 8 or 9 Eastern. I'm just firing it up here. But again, Dylan, one more time, where can everybody find you on social, man? And what are you working on here today for those who are just joining us?
Today I'm not going to do any live shows or nothing. Just going to be backstage with my boy. We're going to look at the weigh-ins, maybe do a little bit more tape study and prepare for the show. I think we're going to do a Saturday last look at this card on the Hubang and Fight Lounge, Hubang and Sports Talk on YouTube. And then if you want all my picks, I'm going to post those on Twitter at Dylon Bets or at Med Dylan. Either one of those works. And they'll be posted there in a nice simple list format for you if you don't want to listen to the hour-and-a-half breakdown. But there is some juicy spots in there. I don't give out everything. So if you want to listen to the show, maybe there's some more spots. And then, all the bets, pretty much the safest ones, are all posted on Twitter there on Friday or Saturday morning before the fights.
Here you go, guys. Follow him right now on Twitter. The greatest one of all. Man, heritage moments. We talk about Doug Ford all the time, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Ford, my apologies, Rob Ford. Rest in peace. I got plenty to eat at home. Oh my goodness. Best line in Canadian politics history, man. Rest in peace, man. When I was in first year college, it was like every day I'd go to the gym, 4:00 news was on, and me and my buddy would barely work out. We were just fascinated with the man, the myth, the legend, the greatest mayor in Canadian history, ladies and gentlemen. Rest in peace, Rob Ford. I can't believe that guy smoked crack and fucked prostitutes. It was absolutely insane. Anyways, for those of you who don't know, we'll talk about it on a membership stream down the road. That's Dylan, incredible. This has been an absolute blast, man. Hope to have you on more of these shows because, again, you bring that betting element that, again, I don't necessarily bring. I'm very surface level with it. I'm more just picking straight up picks here. I keep record of those. The new year, it was tough. You know, that Canada card absolutely cooked me, but I did decent on the last one. Bad. I went, was it 8-4-1 or 7-4-1 in the last one? So it wasn't too bad. And I did swing for the fences with with Salikov. But anyways,
I cleaned up on the women. Actually, they helped me out a lot. We had the Jillian Robertson KO at 700, around 2 or 3 on her, simply because that's how her opponent fights. Who was it? Polyana Viana. She either finishes in round 1 or gets finished in round 2. That was pretty easy. And then who's the other one? Jasmine Duvicius. We got her. She got it done in round 3. That was a huge ticket. Plus
that was savage
or something.
She was an absolute savage in that one too. Like her interview after where she was like, yeah, I probably could have finished her, but I wanted her to feel the pain a little bit longer. And I was like, you are insane.
Yeah, those Canadian women
they were tougher than the men that night. They're tougher than the men. What the fuck, Mike Malott? Anyways, Don Cherry had his thumbs down for the men that night, Dylan, but we'll get him back soon. We just need the boys and girls to go to Alberta, man. We just need them to go back to Calgary. That'll be the big one. Calgary or Saskatchewan, they deserve a show. So hoping that the next time the UFC come up to Canada, it'll be in either Alberta or Saskatchewan. You know the crowd there is going to be absolute. They're going to be
closer to me. I'd probably go to that one.
Honestly, if it's in Calgary, I have to go. I have friends in Calgary, and I'm like, so I got a place to stay there. And
let's vote for Calgary. Yeah, I got family there too. I could stay for free.
Dude, let's go. I can't wait.
That Calgary one we're doing it.
Dude, we're doing a ship and anchor. Pictures on me to start with those nachos and fish and chips, my man. Let's go. All right, guys. Ooh. That is it for the prediction show. Again, go check out Dylan's show. Go check out Dylan's content. I will put timestamps on this later. After LFA, I'm going to get the LFA stream up. Maybe if I have time before, then I will. But basically, tomorrow morning before the UFC fights start, we will have timestamps on this if you missed it. Octagon tomorrow morning, LFA in a couple hours. That's it for me, ladies and gentlemen. From Dylan, I'm Isha. We're out. Join us for LFA in 2 hours. Peace.
Yeah.